I'm trying to, yeah. Hello, Alina. Nice to meet you
Yeah, yeah.
in person.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
Great. I'm
Um,
in this whole massive preparation for my first exhibition, so it's like a very
Yes,
abstract.
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Um, so today we're talking to Alina Gross. She's an amazing photographer and a big inspiration for me. And do you want to tell the audience about yourself, maybe?
Yes, I'm Alina. I'm 42 years old. I'm working in Germany, and yes, thank you for the invitation.
Happy. I'm
We
sorry.
will discuss some interesting questions about photography, feminism, body, and much more. So, yes, we can start with the discussion, or I can explain you. I have to excuse, English is not my native, I'm not a native speaker, but I try my best.
Yeah, I mean that's my favorite part because I'm Russian as well, like by origin, but I never thought of myself as Russian, and that's actually another big thing to discuss, maybe if you up to it. Like how our upbringing is reflected on our creative process. So both of us are Russians, right? You speak Russian as well.
Yes, I am born in Ukraine,
Oh wow, you're Ukrainian
in
born.
Chernovitz, and 1992, my parents came to Germany. So I live a long time here, and I grew up and go and study here in Germany. So I had the luck to grow in a democratic environment, and the life in Germany was wonderful. I studied here, and it was very inspiring.
Were you studying photography as a subject or?
Yes, I studied here in Wuppertal. It is a rural area, not far from Düsseldorf and Cologne.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, here's my base. I started with the photography business like a model. I was a plus size model, and I can show you some pictures from this time.
Of course. Easy.
So,
Oh, you're very
yeah,
like you're very
was
prepared.
my first model job when I was 19, I think.
Was
And
what was it?
it was for fabrics. It was
Yeah,
one uh,
good.
business
So,
from here
yeah.
from Germany.
Maybe you also know another female amazing photographer, Vivian Zassen.
Vivian Zassen, she's from Netherlands, I think.
Yes, she's Dutch, and she actually has the same background. So
Really?
she was a model at the beginning of her career, but then she understood that she feels much more comfortable in like behind the camera, and she wanted to explore this new world in front of her.
Yes.
Was it? Was
Yes,
it?
it was an interesting experience to learn other photographers and work with them and look how they are acting and what they are doing. Especially at the beginning, it was a good experience to go inside of this business.
And when you decided that you actually don't want to be a model anymore, and
I use my body in my works, and it's
right.
okay. And sometimes photographers make images with me, but I don't do this for commercial. I do it like for fun, and it's okay.
Oh, so you're also doing collaborations as a model for another photographers, even now.
Yes, sometimes yes, sometimes yes.
If I knew it, if I just knew, I would say.
Yes. But it is not the main point. And it's often was a situation that I need somebody and nobody was here, or I have an idea and want to create something, and it was the most easiest way to use my own body, and it was easy and small, fast.
Yeah, so let's actually go back a little bit to beginning of your career. So you was modeling in the beginning, and then you took camera in your hands, right?
Right, yes.
When you had the switch.
Direct from the beginning on. It was direct from the start. When I was 18, I started, and I started also photography when I was 18. So it was 22 years ago, 24 years ago, yes.
Crazy. So you're 24 years already in photography. That's insane. I bet your views on the world like already changed so many times. But do you think that the main subject is still the same, or it was also changing?
The main object of what you
Of your
of
work?
yeah, yeah, it's difficult to say. It's a very good question. I think I took a long time to find my visual language, and I worked hard to focus myself and find own visual language. I hope this language will be understood in different countries and different continents, because for me photography is a universal language that you speak everywhere in the world, and I try to do images or topics that are maybe interesting for all humans. And it was a long way to find myself, but I think yes, it always had to do with what is being a woman, what is feminism, what I want to tell the world about my life, and what is important for me,
Mm-hmm.
and how
Yeah.
it is,
So all the topics were there from the beginning, right?
and how is about you.
I have a like artistic background. I was studying in Academy of Arts, and before I was studying a very like special place for like also like it's an art school, and it was very influential. I loved my teachers, but when I went to academy, it was very torturing and difficult because I think I needed to like little guidance, and instead I get a very like strict form, let's say, like a frame where I can express myself, but it was not enough for me. So I stopped to paint. I didn't do photography for a long time. And I stopped to paint. And right now I went to photography slash art, which is
Interesting.
yeah, it's a journey. I think for every artist there is a journey to have, and I think I think that right now after all this crisis with painting, finally start to feel much more comfortable within myself and with the subject that I'm photographing, and this exhibition that I'm preparing right now is very important for me because that's exactly the mix of photography and art, like painting, because it's not really photography, right? Like the medium that I'm using is camera, so it's photography. But at the same time, there is a lot of like collaging involved and using artificial like lights and stuff. So it's very mixed. Yeah. So that's my background.
Okay, and you studied here you live in
No.
Berlin now, yes? You
So
studied in Berlin?
no, yeah, I needed to tell it from the beginning. I grew up in Russia and I moved to Germany right after beginning of the war because I was not agree with our politics, and I decided that I cannot stay. And I lived here already 7 months, and my
Okay.
year blew up like crazy. And my like
How you feel in Germany?
oh, I love that. I love that. Berlin especially. Berlin is my favorite city in the whole world, I think. It gives like a lot of
Wow.
freedom to be whoever you want to be. And that's such a like fruitful environment, I think, for lots of artists because right now I've been to a couple of openings of exhibitions, and all the artists are saying the same. Berlin is a huge playground for artists.
Cool. I'm very happy for you that you have your place now and you feel good with that. It's very important
Yeah,
for others.
thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so let's go back to the subjects of our discussion that we are both, I think, curious about. So we were talking about feminism, right? When you started your career, and how do you see right now the visual language, and what was it changing from, like, I'm talking from the perspective of like visual image of female, just like females, how it was changing from like from
Yeah.
20
You know,
right now.
when I started photography, there were big photographers like Helmut Newton or Terry Richardson. Of course, they have their own male gaze on femininity or woman, but I like this so much. But it's after so many years, I have developed my own view on this, and my vision of woman is different than their visions are. And for me, femininity is equality between man and woman. And contribution for femininity is is to make pictures that have the topic of being woman, being mother, without stereotypes, and show my vision, my female gaze. So yes, because I think, for example, to get children is no contradiction to being a feminist, and you can combine this as well. So should be no restrictions, and yes. And you asked me for symbols and metaphors in my works, yes?
Okay.
Yes, I love to work with it because for me, the metaphors explain very good the multi-layered complexity of things in the world. And through metaphors, I can explain my ideas in pictures. For example, when I started to create these images, it was, for example, this image.
One of my favorite ones.
Yes, it was. It's also one of my important images. Because, for example, here you have also the multi-layers. You have the masculine and the feminine. You have the birds. You have the colors I use here. You have floral symbols, and for me, floral symbolize the veins and the parts of human body. Yes, there are many structures similar between human and plants. So I love to work with the structures and with the forms, because the forms are also the botanic forms of organics, of organisms. Yeah. And the metaphor of flower or of botanics is also the metaphor for fertility and for birth of something new.
Yeah, right.
As well for sexuality. Yes, you can interpret so many different things in that. So I love to work when this image, for example, it is really minimalistic. Yes, it is. It has not so many elements, but when you look at the twice, it's the second time, you discover maybe some metaphors and think about them. The picture is not so easy to explain. You have to work with your brain.
I mean, because I have a pretty big artistic background, for me, the symbol of kind of it's very sexual, right? So, do you have so right now you're combining basically like masculine energy with this flower and then feminine energy with the shape of the body, right? But is there symbol that you're using for female body?
The fertility, the flower or the botanic by themselves, something is growing, is a metaphor for growing new life, for example. It is like something like your desire is growing.
Yeah, then like even triple meaning then. It's not even like two of the meanings. The second one is pretty obvious, right? It looks like erection. I'm sorry. But
Yes,
then
okay.
there is a third layer which I really appreciate. Let's talk a little bit about motherhood. I think it's pretty interesting. You also mentioned, I didn't want to interrupt you, so I waited for a little bit. You was telling about feminism and being a mother. But that's the whole point of feminism, that you can be whatever you want to be. You
Yes.
have a choice to have children or not to have children. You have a choice to choose career over family, or to be a monk and do whatever you feel like, and not to seek for any excuses. So,
Yes, I think this is something very individual, how you interpret this for you. There are some very strict people that say, for me, this is the right things. But for me, the feminism is also to being mother. And I think I had some critical voices about how it is to work with children when you photograph yourself with children. Some people don't like this, and they say this is not okay. But for me, it feels very natural. You know, when your body is changing and you're giving birth, these are very extremely processes. I also worked very much with it. I documented in an artistic way being pregnant, and I think this changes of your body as something natural, and also to give life as something natural. Birth was a big inspiration for my work. This organic process is changing everything. Your body is changing. There's so much power in this process, so it was a big inspiration. And for me, these changes of a body, I wanted to show them as something you don't be afraid of it. For women maybe that don't give birth and are afraid, I heard very often that many are afraid of that. And I wanted to show it like something interesting, like something special and beautiful. And this influenced my photography very much, of course.
wow.
And I wanted also to make a mental process by people who see this picture, my pictures, that they confronted with this topic in a different way and maybe sees from another point of view.
So what is the point of view that you was trying to tell with this subject?
I want to show it from a playful way. For example, the pictures of my belly that was published in Vogue Portugal. This is not a typical picture of being pregnant, yes? This is
Yeah.
not so typical. And I don't want to make pictures have been seen. I would try to make pictures that show a different view. Or this picture of the Bailey.
Yeah. I mean,
For
that's
the
an interesting thing to discuss. Like, I personally, as a woman, like aside, like all this photography shit aside, right? I feel very uncomfortable of being depicted on pictures, on photographs, because there are like stretches or like little marks on the body that I'm not very comfortable with, right? And I think it's very important that right now we have a very broad body positive movement, and I think you one of the like leading people in the movement. I really appreciate that, but I want to ask you, like it's a pretty personal question, I think. Do you feel uncomfortable yourself when you're doing such a picture, with, for example, with your belly and all the like stretch marks involved?
I think there are different moments. Sometimes it's like everybody. At one day you feel good, and another day you feel not so good, or you have your period. I don't know.
It's more
And
like, are you driven uh, by like inspiration of this like body changes, or it's more like for example, like I'm afraid of the subject, so I will go there and I will prove to myself, and then I'll prove to my audience, let's say, that actually like body image is nothing, and you can be beautiful the way you are.
yes, it's not that I'm afraid of something. I just wanted to show natural things in a in my own beautiful visual language. But I think I have this impulse. Something is inside me that says it's right to do these pictures and show them to the world. Because I think we have a responsibility also to the other generation, especially in social media, where everybody wants to be perfect and show you from the best side. I want to show that the imperfections are also beautiful, and just to make a dialogue to the audience and show, okay, here we are, and I have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, here I would ask you then, you are already giving it a name, imperfection. So it's kind of meant to say that it's like something negative, right? And then you like doing a contrapose, which is
Yes,
beautiful.
it's a play with this. Of course, imperfection included the perfection as well. But every human, there is no human in this world is perfect. Yes. Oh, I mean, what is perfection? So I work with it and want to say, okay, we have our imperfection, but it's okay. Let's talk about it or let's show it. Why not? Why should we try to show us perfect? Let's do the opposite.
Right. I just thought that your pictures are making this subject very comfortable and comforting. So because of your visual language, because you know how to make things beautiful, you also capable of depicting such a still difficult subject, I think, for majority of people, not just females, but just people, and depicting it in the way that is comforting and just simply beautiful. Like you don't you like when you're looking into images, when I'm looking into images, I don't see imperfection anymore. That's what is interesting acknowledgement. Like I didn't think about this subject from this side.
Yes, I want that the people or the woman or that they feel comfortable with my pictures, that they feel safe, and this is the intention I have behind the images. So maybe this is why you feel like this. Because when I do artworks, I always ask myself, what do I want that the people feel when they see it? What do I want what they see in the images? Of course, I can't influence completely what the people interpret in the pictures, because the people have their own background and interpret the different things. But many things happen subconscious, and we don't even realize because it's our instinct. Like also like the sexuality thing. I think it's a very powerful thing because we all have this instinct in us to react, and I can influence through the design of the image or through the color gradation. I can influence how the people should feel. And when I want that they feel comfortable and warm and beautiful, I try to do this, how I see these things. And how is it about you, Dariia?
You mean the subject of body in general in my works? I actually wanted to ask you a different question, but I guess I can tell you a little bit about my work. I think till the recent moment, I was not really interested in the subject of body at all. I think I was very uncomfortable being naked and getting other people be naked. So it was a very challenging thing for me. But I think like most of the time I was just not interested in it for some reason. But recently, again, when I moved to Germany, I started to overprocess it and understood that actually I start to think of body as an art object, as an it's not like it doesn't belong to me, it doesn't belong to other person, but it's another beautiful natural shape, an abstract shape. So right now when I'm doing my collages, I'm sometimes involving parts of human body, and that's leading me to my question. So what happened to me recently, and it was a very interesting experience. For one of my recent shoots, I asked a person to get naked in front of me, and then I put this person in the bathtub as a part of my project. So I was shooting underwater, right? And I made this very beautiful collage. I'm very proud of it, and there are parts of his body involved. And when I showed this picture to my friend, and I said, actually, there are four pieces of genitals there. And my friend said, but I didn't want it to know that. So,
Yes.
question to you. Because I was very surprised. I think because I'm very open to any kind of discussion, and this one was just very new to me. Like it's so natural to see it, to like our bodies. Like we cannot live without our body, so it's supposed to be natural, but at the same time we have a very big stigma around it.
Yes. Also a big stigma around vulva, and I started to make the pictures with about this after I gave my second birth, and it was after the birth I feel something was different. My body changed, and I thought it looks ugly. It looks destroyed after the birth, and then I started to make pictures, images to show my vagina is beautiful. So I make more and more of these images, and I feel that it was the right direction. And I also saw that the people love the woman field. They love the images, and they love to see the stigmatized topic is very yes, and they feel free, and they feel they say yes, this can be shown as something is good. And so I think you have so many phallus symbols and architecture and everything. Everybody speaks, oh, wow, cool. And penis is okay, but vagina is not okay. We live in the 21st century. I think we should, feel safe with it. Of course, when I was young woman, maybe I feel also a little bit more ashamed about it, but it was, of course, a process to feel that this feels right for me, and I think this is really beautiful for me. So I search this form everywhere and want to see. I saw this everywhere in botanics and fruits, in flowers,
What
and I
was
thought it was very inspiring.
what was the most interesting subject or object where you saw the symbol yourself? Because
Symbol
from
of vulva, or what
flowers
symbol?
it's kind of like very obvious as a symbol of vagina, right? Of vulva. But do you remember yourself like finding out another shape that reminded you of that and you was very fascinated by it?
You mean what is not fruits and not
Yeah, yeah,
botanics?
yeah,
Um, yes, it's a good question.
You know, it's a very weird
I
question,
have
but
to think
I'm very
about it.
curious right now. I'm just like start to think about this myself.
You know, the first images I did about vulva, I even not realized what was it. It was instinctively. I. It was not that I thought I make now an image about vulva, but it was I made it, and then I saw what I made, you know, and then I thought it looks cool. It is interesting, and. Yes, for me also this like a metaphors of human body. You know, my series. It was published not in this magazine I show you. So I did the whole series about it, and long time they were not published, but up to now I had a very cool
Oh
publication.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's my favorite work of yours. That's just
is it?
fantastic. That's so delicious. It's just delicious. Yeah, that's the best work I've ever seen.
Because I worked long time on this topic. It was many years, and it was so many years inspiration, and also the whole body is so many years the biggest inspiration in my artworks. And I think it will be going on because the body is changing the whole time. So to show the changes of human body, of female body, and I think it can be a mission for whole life of artists.
Yeah. I really love how you used piercing and fruits. Like this combination, it's like it's not really obvious. The symbol is not very obvious, but it's so delicious to look at. It's visually like it's just a killer. Like I
Thank
respect
you, Jen.
the series. It's just like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Um, what I found interesting when he was telling about um, your journey through your like this question about being a mother second time and depicting your vulva after giving second birth. So what I found interesting that you, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that you took this journey as a healing journey. Did it
Yes,
help you? Did it
absolutely.
help you, or did you get any feedback from other females, other women?
Yes, yes. I feel, or there are some females that so that want to have these pictures. They write it to me, and they saw, and they say, "I never saw a vulva so beautiful like this. I wanted to have it for my house," or you know. And this is were more women that wanted this art.
Yeah, of course. It's not. I mean, it's very sad to say that, right? Like, of course, women do want this kind of art.
Yes. And what is about the womb? For me, the womb is, have the organic use or the organic function to giving life, but it's also to give a pleasure. It's for me, it's very deep, and there are many multi layers also in this because I use very often the womb and this part of the body, you know. And so for me, it is, yes, it was an inspiration, the birth and the pleasure, it's all belongs together. Like also a nipple, it's a piece of pleasure, but it's also something you give food to your baby, you know. And this is why I'm so interested in the body processes, because the body is not just this sexual organ, it's much more. Mm.
Right, right. And it's pretty interesting that in your work, I can see that there is a lot of sexuality, but there is also a lot of this warm energy that is very comforting. So, for example, this image where you holding your tummy with hands, like it's very comforting image. It's very interesting to look at. So it's also a cover of your book. But before the book, there was this the cover of Vogue magazine, right? So
It
when
was not, no, it was not cover. It was, but it was a very important work that was published in a print editorial of Vogue magazine, because it was my first print editorial for Vogue. The work with Vogue, it has a longer story behind it. I started with a photo Vogue before 10 years. It is a talent platform from Vogue Italia. I don't know if you maybe know it. And
yeah, of course.
yes, and I worked with them. I made this, and this time I made this image with this fruit. It was exhibited in in Milano, and after they published this image on on their Instagram, this one. And after this feature, many huge magazines start to follow my Instagram account. So Instagram was very important for my artwork. This was a really important platform for me. But I also always in struggle with Instagram because my account was blocked, and I was hacked half year ago. I lost all my audience. And I has always struggled with this, so I'm trying to build up my account now.
Yeah,
But
so well.
yes, it was. I had a really huge, very good, going account, but it was hacked. So
I'm sorry to hear that. Really,
Yes,
will go better soon. You deserve it,
yes,
that's for sure. So
yes, but
going back to the story.
yes. And then Sophia from Portugal started to follow my work, and she saw these images. This was this series I showed you, and then she asked me to show the images in Vogue, and she made a print editorial about 6 double pages.
Crazy.
It was wow! It was such a huge thing. I think it was the most important thing in my career, yeah, as photographer. And these images, it was crazy. So after this, I worked with Vogue Portugal for 5 issues, and we have made many print editorials together. You know, of course, for the photographers, print is cool, or online is cool, but print is print. Yeah, it
Yep.
stays forever. I hope so. Yes, and so the other Vogue magazines come Vogue Singapore. I made photo series for them, but
Do you have
Vogue.
a favorite publication so far?
Yes, because it was a start, and was a very artistic work, and so my work was known with the topics or with the values are important for me, and it was published, and it was wow. But I have made one cover for Purple Haze magazine. This is also a body positivity image. So
One of our favorite subjects.
yes, I worked with them also several times, and maybe we made them exhibition in the future.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would
I
be,
will let you know.
yeah. And then why did you choose the same title for your book and for the magazine story? Is there a
Yes, magazine story called "Follow the White Rabbit." The idea was to show it was like a journey, inspired by Alice in Wonderland, for different parts of her body that you don't know where you are in this moment, and it's like a journey, like an Odyssey. And the issue of the magazine was the beauty of imperfection,
yes.
and the series is Your Body is a Wonderland. But for me, this title is symbolize a vision of or the vision of human or of woman. In my book, I try to show my vision of beauty, or my vision of human. And like I said, the perfection will try to be in Instagram. I want to show them. I want to work with this perfections and show normal bodies in playful and beautiful way.
So in the book, you're using mostly your body or other people?
There are works from I think 5 or 6 years. There are different bodies, and there are still life images and portraits, and the most of them are body images, of course. This is the focus.
Was it like did you had an intention to have this book early on, like 5 years ago when you started to do like the
No, no, I had not this intention, but I get a request also through Instagram. The publisher asked me to do a book with them, and it was very cool because it was at the point when my account was away, and I thought social media is so in one day you have, and the next day it can be deleted or hacked, or so I thought, oh, book is very cool opportunity to go deep in one topic and to showcase your work and your intention. And it's better than a social media platform. When you show some images, you can really go deep. So we started to work on it. It is not finished now, but we are in the process.
How is it to work with the editor? Because I think you're not. It's not you who is like editing, who is selecting images. Like the final selection will be not just yours, right?
We are communicate with each other. So if some images are very important for me, I will speak with the editor that they are inside, of course. But
So
Daria, you are also making a book with them, I think.
I'm not I'm not making a book right now, but actually the girl who's working this publishing started to follow me. So they didn't reach out to me yet. But I definitely don't mind that. But I think that right now I have much more things to do, and I think there will be a book, but not right now. That's for sure. I think there will be in the future, but not right now. But
How old are you, Daria?
I'm 24, so I'm the same age as your career.
So tell me, what are your plans in photography? What you want? Would you like to shoot or to work with somebody?
So my last project lasted for 6 months, so that's the amount of time that I'm here, and I dedicated this time mostly to this project. What I was very interested in is to create series of work, not just do like editorial shoots as I used to, but to be very focused on vision and to develop it the way that it will suit the whole idea. So that was very important for me. Like long-term plans, I want to integrate photography and painting, but also I'm very curious about filming and directing. Um, the short-term plans. I have a very interesting project with my friend Naum, who just joined. Actually, hello Naum. Naum is a very great artist. He's doing a lot of things, from performing to sending his artworks to the space. So hello.
Okay.
And he offered to have a very cool project together based on AI. So he wrote, with the help of AI, he's writing short stories about nature and how nature is, what kind of influence we are doing to nature. So what's happening in the world right now. So they're using the data from satellites that collected
Wow.
decades.
Sounds
And
interesting.
yeah, the stories are amazing. It's very poetic, and the AI writing a story about, for example, like this specific river or this specific forest, the fire that happened in this forest. And for this project, he needs to have like a person who can depict it. So right now we are working on concept of this shoot, and we are not really sure if it will be a video project or a photo project. But it's really interesting subject because it involves a lot of poetry, so it's not really direct. But also, I'm really not a person who will just do a picture of a landscape. So there is a lot of things that we need to discuss and like defined the visual language that we want to use. So that's very that's like short-term vision and long-term vision at the same time. And how about you? What about your plans after the publishing the book?
Um, yes, in the last images, I included my baby very much because I have 3 children, and the youngest is 9 months now. So,
Time is flying. Mm.
so we made also many images together. But yes, I will see. I made some interesting editorials for huge magazines. It was cool. I have fun with that to make photo productions. And
Name it?
what?
Do you want to name it, or you're not allowed to yet?
Sorry?
Like, can you tell the names of magazines, or you're not allowed to yet?
Oh no, it was Vogue. I made something for Vogue Singapore,
Oh
but
yeah, yes.
it was the May issue. It
Mhm.
was
Can you show the
and
image? The one, the left one? Yes, yes, that's a beautiful one. Great.
but it was commission work, and it was eight, no, how many pages? Many double pages. So it was also very cool. Of course, I would love to work for Vogue again because it was when I was started photography, it was my dream to work for them, and this dream come true in the last years. And I like the visual language of them. It's a little bit artistic. It was fashion, a little bit was art, and it's open-minded. So I have fun to work with them, and I would love to make a physical exhibition at next. I don't know if in Germany or somewhere else. We had a group with, we are, of course, when on Instagram, we are suffering under the restrictions of censorship.
Yeah.
It's a big topic in my work as well. At the moment, it's okay, but my account was also, before it was hacked, it was 1 month blocked because of the censorship.
Terrible.
So, yes, and I have to censor my images because of the body hair or of the nipple, and
I didn't know that body hair is also counts as a censorship thing. Terrible, terrible.
it depends on how you see it, but it's really strange. But okay, this is Instagram. So I would love to make a physical exhibition where I also can show my book. And of course, I want to promote my book and that many people see that. And guys, when you see that, of course, you can order my book because the publisher is also working with the designers from Ukraine. So they also work with Ukrainian workers. And when you buy my book, of course, you support the Ukrainian people and who work with them together.
That's a beautiful reason to buy your book.
I hope this is not the only one.
Not the only one, for sure.
Yes. But yes, and physical exhibition it would be cool in Berlin. I love also last year I was 2 times in Berlin for exhibitions. I hope that this year it will be come again.
Yeah, I really hope so. I really hope so. I was about to ask you something else. Good. Do you already know the date of the publishing of your book?
We are in the process. I think in the next 4 weeks we will be finished, and then yes, 1 month I think it will
But
depend.
no that date of release yet.
I
Will
don't have.
going to have a party, launching party of this book?
Yes, yes, it's good that you say that. We will do in Düsseldorf. We will have a release party, but I have not the data when it will be. When you want, I send you an invitation.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean,
Would you
I
come to
would love
Düsseldorf?
to go, but unfortunately, next month after my exhibition, I'm going to Serbia for at least,
No,
no, at least
no.
3. I'm going there to prolong my residence permit here. So that's not the ideal, but looking forward to it too because Serbia also have a very interesting artistic scene. So maybe I will be influenced by them also.
I will follow on Instagram. Of course, Instagram is what's one side there are restrictions, and you are angry and you're frightened what your account can be deleted. At the other side, it's a very important platform for artists, for all artists, because other people see your works, they buy your works or book you. So I think it's very important platform um, also for my work, and also that people from everywhere can follow your work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great opportunity for everybody. Do you have or did you have any anxiety about posting? Like I know a couple of artists who are very obsessed about their feed, like how the feed looks like. Do you have this like perfectionist vision how it's supposed?
It's a good question. Yes, in the Instagram feed is yes, in our time this is a professional feed, looks have a symmetries, and the color gradation should be good, and it should be harmonic and not boring. It's one side, and exciting the other side. It's not so easy, I think. I'm working on that. Yes, yes, of
So that
course.
so you sometimes you can get anxious about that. For example, like you have this beautiful piece of work, right in front of you. It's ready to be published, but at the same time, it's not fitting ideally, like color wise or texture wise to your feed. So you would not publish it anyways.
No, I do it by at my feeling when I think, because my feet is very multicolored, and I do it like it feels for me. When it feels right, I do it, and when it not, then for me it's like a mosaic, and you can change it every time. So after I losing my account, I'm not so serious more with Instagram, because I think it's platform for commercial of my work to make a promotion. But I think it's not the only one. I try to do more physically now.
Mm.
Because I think this is the things that stay, the publications, the book, the physically, also the contact with people, important, or people behind the Instagram feeds. For example, the platforms, the feministic platform created by girls supported me so long time. They always, through the years, they showed my works, and we make an exhibition in Lisbon.
So
And they
what is the name of this platform so everybody can know that?
curated by girls, you
Created by
know?
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You
Actually.
can share, of course, you can share. And this they supported me so long time, and they're really, I know the people, they are doing that, and yes, it's important to have those people behind you through the years. Yeah, it's maybe not friendship, but it's we support each other and understand each other artistically. Yes, because of course my parents support me, but they don't see my work from the artistic side. You know what I mean?
Do you still feel the need of being validated by a majority of people or like by some specific people in your life? Like that like you need to be told that your work is good, or you feel already like good within yourself and you know that you're doing great work.
Yes, of course, when I get feedback to my work, it influences me a little bit, of course, it does. For example, negative feedback when I have a shitstorm and somebody criticizes my work, of course, this is my baby and somebody criticizes, of course, I want to protect or speak or communicate. And I had several shitstorms about my works, and it was really hard because people in internet, when they don't know you personally, they can be very aggressive.
So,
And
can you tell a little bit about the subject of this shitstorm? Let's name
yes,
this.
for example,
I'm very curious about that because I don't have this much of publication as you do and this much of experience. So I'm pretty curious. So I never had a negative feedback about my photographs. I'm not asking right now to give it to me though. But yeah, like I can survive without that. I really hope I will. But I'm very interesting what was the challenge for you and how did you overcome it?
For example, I had the series with my baby, and we are breastfeeding. Two mothers are breastfeeding their babies, and then there are many people said that it's not okay to photograph yourself with your baby and show it on the internet because yes, it's you are not a good mother and. It's not okay to show your baby and to use your baby for your artworks. This is not okay. And, was one shitstorm, and I think it was about 1,000 commentaries. It was my old account. It's the people were really angry and um, and said I'm a bad mother and things like this. And the other shitstorm was I was using octopus at my images, a real octopus, and people said this is not okay to work with animals because it's cruel to use animals in artworks.
And
For example,
please, how did you overcome this terrible accident?
I think it makes not so many sense to react because these people want that you react, and the aggressivity comes back, and I didn't react at that, you know, because I have several different experiences with criminals on Instagram or on internet. It was some trolls or cyber attacks and things like that. I also study. I'm not study. I'm teaching on a university, and I also handle with this in the theory about the phenomena about media, social media, criminality. I am here in Mönchengladbach. It is not far from Düsseldorf. It's a university, and I have a seminar about photography for students of culture, work within culture and social studies. So
Crazy. That's amazing. Wow, I didn't know about this part of you. But how did you justify it for yourself? You know, when you're facing this very huge challenge, when thousands of people are saying, "Look, you're wrong. Like your photography is like no good. It's like not a good thing to depict."
yes, it was in this case it was a community, and there were people from one community that said or they all had one meaning, and it was against me. So okay, so there were many people, but yes, of course it is hard, and I was thinking about it if I do something wrong because of this feedback. But when I did these images, it feels absolutely natural. It feels warm. It feels right to do them. And when the images was published, I have very good feedback to these images. Many people, many women feel closeness, and the feedback was very positive. That they say this images explain the motherhood I feel like. So it was not just the negative feedback; it was both, you know. And of course, I am open for critics, and I thinking about critics. This is okay. It's important to have a discussion when it's not too aggressive, you know. And yes, it's not easy, but it belongs to this job as well.
Yeah, right. And how about the second one? Was it the same argument?
It was about the octopus.
Yeah, right, right.
Yes, with the octopus. Yes. I can understand people. Some people are against it. This is okay. I understand them, and yeah, of course, in the next productions, maybe I search different ways to do my artworks. But yes, this pictures was made in the past, and I think it feels strange to delete them because somebody is not okay with them, you know?
Right, right. I mean, yeah, because we are going through very interesting times, and what, for example, right now, recently I was in this exhibition in Hamlet Newton Foundation, and it is a huge exhibition about LA and actors. And I was looking at the pictures that were made by Helmut Newton of this beautiful women, and I was just thinking to myself, if somebody did these pictures right now, I would find it disgusting. I would find it like very objectifying and very rude. And it was just like a very strict male gaze. I would hate that. But because it was happening when 20th century, they just didn't have a dictionary for that. They were just not occupied with this idea of
I had the same issue with the image of Richard Avedon, Dovima with the elephant, very famous, iconic fashion image. I showed it to my students, and I saw that the elephants was in the Ketten. There was not free, so there was in bondage. I don't know.
chains, right?
In what chains? Yes, in chains, yes. So I thought, oh, in our times, it was not be possible to make a fashion picture like this, but it was 1950, I think, and there was no restrictions like today that the people think about ethically things. Of course, I think it's important. It shows that the medium photography is very fast developing, and not that there are also ethical moments inside this. Not only the how beautiful is the image, there are so much more in them. So because this is why I love this medium so much, because for me this is I can go so deep, and also the history of images, and for me it's always inspiration to being photographer and to do images. I feel this impulse after 20 years. I feel it again and again and
Yeah,
again.
that sounds very inspiring to me as a young artist, like with almost no experience. I'm just thinking, what if it will not last? But looking at you after 24 years of doing the same job, that's very inspiring. And I see that you're developing, like you are changing all the times. So
Yes.
that's very inspiring to me.
And Daria, why you selected me for this discussion?
I just found these topics very interesting for me, and I thought that you will be a perfect person to discuss it.
And do you think we spoke about enough about this you wanted to speak about?
Um, I think I get all my question answered if I look at the list, because I also printed it just in case. There is just one. I think there is just one question that we didn't really cover much. We can go back to symbols, and the question was, do you have a symbol that you feel like you invented it?
What do you mean with invented?
Like it's you who made another meaning of a certain object.
Um,
I think it's even possible to
it's,
create.
it's impossible to answer because I don't know what makes the world. Maybe also very good and genius people had the same idea in different parts of the world at similar time. For example, yes.
Right, right.
So, so, for example, this images with Anturia, with this color, this flower, because this flower I used very often, because for me this symbolizes the feminine and the masculine shapes. So explains that we are all belong together, and feminine is also masculine, and masculine is also feminine. It's also all in one, and it symbolizes very good the gender topic. And the topic of gender is also very present in in other works
That's
of
true.
mine.
But can I ask you a technical question?
Yes.
Was there a lot of post production in this specific image that you just showed me, or it was mostly like body paint or something like that?
Yes, it's mostly physical. I am not so, I'm not using Photoshop, but not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I wanted to ask you about KI. You told me that you're experimenting with KI?
You mean AI? Like
Yes, KI, yes.
AI, artificial intelligence?
Yes. How you work? Do you work with these programs?
Um, so I am personally not working with AI. Actually, I was a little bit experimenting with that, but I didn't find a right solution for like I didn't find the use of it yet. So there is a special very interesting like AI program thing that you will write a text and AI will develop an images and you can select them and then combine them. And I already saw a lot of a bunch of artists doing that, like practicing it. For example, a very good example of that will be Nick Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I personally right now don't feel like doing that. But I am very into experimenting right now with 3D scanning and turning it into the sculptures. So that's
Okay.
an interesting thing. So right now, with new iPhones, you can do a scan, 3D scan, like very easily, and
Yes.
then you can, for example, for my future editorial that we are working on right now, we'll use 3D scans of flowers and put the models within this, let's say, like sculptural object. So it
Oh,
will it will be a part of ambience. So I think it's pretty cool thing to consider using, and better quality, of course, helps a lot because with phone scans, it's still pretty complicated and not perfect. but it's pretty interesting thing to just you know to travel through. It just another tool in our hands.
Yes, I think it's the same that this is a tool for creativity. It can be a tool for creativity, but you need the person who is have the visions or have the ideas. I think that you don't, because there's a big discussion if the artist will be English is I'm not
What is the
native
German
speaker.
word?
Sorry.
What is a German word?
Der nötig ist oder ob der
It's useful.
yes, or if the KI is managing everything. What do you think about it?
That's a pretty fun question. I think artists are valuable because of our visions, right? Vision, and still AI is not developed enough to like direct, let's say. So right now, humans are still needed for deciding what is beautiful and what's not beautiful. But AI is developing fast, so maybe it's already a thing. So there are certain experiments and like let's say paintings that were sold as real paintings that made by real people, but actually it was AI projects. So let's see. I prefer not to think too much about this kind of dark future. It sounds pretty dystopian to me. But like my idea of the future will be people will not allow AI to develop this far to change the society so much. I really hope not. Otherwise, we'll be, I don't know, slaves to robots. And then, but I think at this moment, we artists can find a very good use of AI, for sure. That's for sure. That's I think bringing our own vision, and that's another source of inspiration. Because
Yes,
right now we are using, so basically it's like a huge field, and you can choose one specific detail that you find interesting. So I think that's our, like you see the world and it's like huge, fantastic, colorful, whatever. But you, an artist, should just pick one little thing and like show to the audience, like, and say, that's great. I find this interesting.
yes, I did an experiment with KI. I worked with a program and I said an ant on the orchid, the flower orchid, and end, and then the KI combined these two words, and then there was a flower that the structure of the flower, but it has a form of the ant
What?
or of a duck.
What the hell? That's crazy. That sounds so fantastic to me. And then afterwards, or do you have it somewhere like to show right now?
No, I don't have. It was just for joking, but I
But
said
even
I
like
thought
even an idea of it to add another texture to a
yes,
very specific object is like very fantastic. Sounds very.
yes.
I'm very curious.
If you have the right keywords, I think it could be interesting. But sometimes it looks just horrible. Or
Yeah, that's the point. AI is not developed well enough to decide what is well done or what's bad done yet. Probably it
Yes.
will change very soon because it's developing itself. Like it's a crazy, like it's the speed is like very horrifying.
Yes, photography is developing so fast. You know, when I started photography, it was analog photography in studio with the dark room when you developed the images by yourself. And after there came the digital cameras with mirror, and the mirror cameras was the best cameras for photographers. Yes, for semi-professionals. And now the cameras were
Mirror,
there without mirror. It was
mirror.
not imaginable in this time when I started. I could not imagine that this will happen. But now I have a camera without mirror, and
So
the
how do you feel right
focus.
now about film and digital? Do you have this fetish for film still?
No, me not. I like an analog photography. I understand people that they like the aesthetics, and you also have to be smart in how you handle with the camera. You must understand many things about how camera is function, what is with the light, and everything. But I'm not an analog photographer. No.
Okay, then it's great that you found another medium. I mean, the other cameras were developed.
Yes, I think everybody should do things that you can do good. And for me, I think this is working with body, with colors, and with bodies, and so it's one mind thing to what I can do good. In the analog photography, I'm not in the point in my life that I'm experimenting so much because I think I found myself, and I took a long time to find my visual language, but now the last years I developed, and I will stay with this and try to more perfection. Of course, the imperfection depends also at perfection. You have to know what is perfect when you want to know what is not perfect.
Right, right. That's a pretty cool idea. All right, so I think it's time to wrap up this whole thing. I really hope that the opening of presentation of the book will go well. Really looking forward to see the book itself. And if you have any updates, please post on Instagram, and we'll share with the whole world about it.
Yes, wishing you also with your exhibition everything. Yes, many visitors, and that you feel good with it. What happened there?
So much. Thank you so much. And if you have a possibility to come, I'll be crazy happy to meet you. Yeah.
I will try.
Yeah. All right, Alina, thank you so much for being with me and talking to me. It was very exciting. I think we covered all the topic that we wanted, and I
Very
feel
good.
right within myself. How about you?
Yes, I am also happy, and thank you so much for your time and for the audience, and thank you guys for
Thank you
your
for
support,
participating with us. It's
and
very.
see you soon. Mwah.
See you soon. Ciao.